So I decided to take a couple of days outside of Kuala Lumpur while I was in Malaysia. So now you see me in a ferry crossing over from Butterworth into Georgetown in Penang. Georgetown, Penang is a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its multicultural influence and preserved colonial architecture. Georgetown is known for its food scene, but also contains colorful street art and historical landmarks such as Fort Cornwallis and the Queen Victoria Memorial Clock Tower. But also, here is my guy here leading a flock of well-behaved pigeons. But none of these reasons are the reasons I am here. So if you remember Chris from our Singapore video, he was telling me about this thing called Malaysian Cocktail Week. He asked if I heard about it and I said no. He said it's in Penang and I said, well, I'll be in Kuala Lumpur. I should take the train up, and I did. Long story very short, it's an event where various players in the alcohol industry across Asia meet up and have a conference and of course drink delicious cocktails and have a good time all around. Some of these places did feel like speakeasies because if you didn't know there was a bar in there, you would not know. Some of these places look like they are somebody's house. As you can see here, we're just standing in front because we didn't know if we were in the right place or not. There's no signage, nothing that would indicate we're in the right place. We were, but again, some of these bars are so nondescript. And of course, we have a classic case here of a speakeasy. It took me a good while before I realized I had to push the door open. I hope this goes without saying. I had a great time over the course of the 3 days I was in Penang. I got to meet some very awesome people. The cocktails I drank were absolutely amazing. The entertainment was good. Just in overall, great vibes. Great vibes overall. Welcome to Malacca, Malaysia, or should I say the historic city of Malacca. So we are right now 2 hours south of Kuala Lumpur. I took a bus here this morning and I just wanted to check out the city. I heard about Malacca, how it has this rich history, especially from its times from the colonial era. So obviously you can see behind, as you can kind of see already, it's holding on to a lot of that architecture, well, in this main part of the city anyway. I'm not quite sure how well it permeates outside this little hub, but we're gonna check it out. So I only have a few things I know I want to see today. Hopefully we can stumble across some things kind of off the beaten path. Hopefully we'll see whether it works. So I got here about 40 minutes ago, so I just left St. Paul's Church, which is on top of the hill, which is why I wanted to hit it first, climbing those stairs. But yeah, went to St. Paul's Church, came down, got a nice little panoramic of part of Malacca. So now I'm here in the main square. We got the Queen's Fountain right over my shoulder, along with the church and a clock tower. So you can see very clearly that this part is really still holding on to the colonial part of its heritage. So we'll see what we can find as we progress throughout the day. Let's roll. So this is incredible. So here's a sign right here that says Little India, like hashtag Little India. So the colonial area is like right there. We just walked out of there. We just walked past there, and I am assuming Little India is right behind me. So I'm standing right between like Little India and the colonial area. I was not aware there was even a Little India here. So I think we're just gonna walk down and take a look. Probably, you know, the standard shops, restaurants, and all that other good stuff. But it doesn't hurt to look. One of the things that like in this trip that I've kind of known already, but hasn't really hit home, is the idea of all these ethnic enclaves in these different cities, where you have people from like it doesn't matter where they're from, you know, like China, India, like in the case of Singapore, Malaysia, just come across the border, and these little enclaves where, you know, it's, you know, they're living here, right? It's, you know, like they build a community, they have shops, like restaurants, like things that like kind of remind them of home, or like of their like native culture that they brought with them, that to help kind of ease the transition into like a land that's outside of where they're from. And for whatever reason, it wasn't until really like last week I really started noticing how important these enclaves are. And like this is coming from, again, like I've like seen these enclaves even in the States. I lived outside of DC, like there's a prominent Chinatown there, but it's more for glitz and glamour. But here, sure, like there is a bit of a you know, commercial element, but there is something more, I hate using the word authentic, but there's like something more real about like seeing these communities here. And so I took a little detour. I walked like through Little India, going to where I'm going next. Actually, I don't even know where I'm going next. I just haven't marked on my Google Maps. But anyway, as I've mentioned several times throughout the past few months, not a lot of places are very walkable or accessible via sidewalks. But so I got kind of caught. But then I met this nice couple here from France. Hi. And we both were like, actually, the three of us, you know, those two are one, I'm me, you know how it goes. Anyway, we were like, yeah, we're a little bit hungry. We could eat. And then so there is this little food market right over here. But no one's really selling anything. So like one of the guys just directed us to this Indian restaurant. So we're just gonna stop for lunch, and we'll see where the rest of the day takes us. So yeah, just left lunch with that awesome French couple. But those of you who know me and have asked me, or I just probably volunteered the information, my absolute favorite part about traveling, sure, like some of the sites are cool and like the experience is great, but really the number one thing that I enjoy most is getting the chance to meet awesome people. And like whether just like sharing a meal, sharing drinks, or just you're at a like place together and like you kind of share stories, you get to kind of find out a little bit about who they are and kind of what everyone's experience is. To me, that's one of the things I really, really enjoy most about not only like this trip so far that I've had, but just traveling in general. Hey, welcome to Malacca! All right, so those two gentlemen you just saw are here from Kuala Lumpur, and they were just telling me that they got here this morning as well, and that I need to try Nyonya food, which apparently like that is like the type of food that's famous here in Malacca. I'm going to venture to guess that this is Malacca's Chinatown. So yeah, I was right. This is basically Chinatown, and the key thing is, I mean, like I know some of you can say, well, duh, I mean, look at all the decorations, but sometimes you can be fooled. What's wrong with you? But the reason I know that this is definitely Chinatown, or at least in China, is the presence of guardian lions. So this is actually something I learned in Beijing, and like keep an eye on detail here. So this right here is a male guardian lion. And how do I know it's male? Is because it has a ball. This, which in Buddhism, like this male lion here, this ball represents, which represents material elements. Meanwhile, over here, we have a female lion, which under its paw, instead of a ball, it has a cub. She has a cub, which represents the elements of the spirit. Of course, if the lions weren't a giveaway, I could have just simply took another 7 steps in front of me to see this. But of course, I insist on doing things the hard way, and also to show off my knowledge of Chinese culture. Because of course. Hey! So I followed the recommendations of the 2 guys I ran into earlier from Kuala Lumpur to try some Nyonya food. So I'm at this restaurant. I forget the name. I'll jot it down. I have my food. So hopefully this is good. It's my first time. I forgot exactly what I ordered. I think it's like a pork dish, kind of a spicy pork dish, along with an appetizer. So we'll see if it's any good. Something funny did happen as I was waiting to be seated. So as I said, it was a long wait, and so the hostess was like asking me questions, and of course she asked me where I'm from, and I said I'm American, and basically she's like, no, but where are you from? And I said, no, I'm American. I'm just straight American. And she's like, but you know, your parents and your family. I said, well, my parents are from North Carolina and Texas. So I am legit about as American as you can get. And I just think of like all the things I know, especially like in America, if particularly like those of like you know, the Asian Americans, like they get this all the time, and I'm like, wow, this finally happened to me. I think this is the first time I've been somewhere and that has happened. Because what happens is, I go somewhere, I say I'm American, and everyone's okay, cool, because they can usually hear it in my voice, and there's no question about it. But this is the first time where I got hit with that, and I don't know how to feel about it. and like after that, like look, there's a thing we had a good conversation after that, but like clearly she was just like very curious. So like I was kind of happy to go through it, but it was an interesting interaction to say the least. So yeah, that was my time in Malaysia. Most of it was based in Kuala Lumpur. Had the time to take 2 distinctly different trips outside the city, but yeah, that's it. I will catch all of you next time. Take care.